Hi guys, so how's everybody doing a day after the full moon in Virgo and Saturn entering the sign of Pisces? Are you feeling it? Any changes in your lives? So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the practical application of this transit. So this video won't have much of astrology jargon in it. But first and foremost, I would like to give a shout out to my evolutionary astrology teacher, Simon Vorster, and his Raising Vibration, because I have just finished watching his, what was live yesterday. I missed the live because I was doing a reading for a client, but I just watched the recording of it today. And even though it is called Full Moon in Virgo, mostly Simon talks about the transit of Saturn through sign of Pisces, which is happening as of yesterday for the next 3 years. So I am going to put the link below, and I recommend everyone to watch it, literally, because this transit is going to impact us in a huge way, which is what Simon talks about. And you don't even need to speak astrology language to understand what's going to be happening and how potentially this might be impacting you. Well, it will impact every single one of us. And Simon did such an amazing job interpreting this transit. It was such an amazing channeling and putting together so many different aspects of this transit. I will not even try to attempt to replicate it or create a video about Saturn moving through the sign of Pisces, because I don't think anybody can beat this video, and it's not a competition, but I salute to Simon. And guys, if you want to know about Saturn Pisces transit, Saturn in Pisces for the next 3 years through the evolutionary astrology point of view, so this is how it's going to impact collective, and obviously it's going to impact every single one of us individually. I recommend you to watch this one video. You don't even need to watch any other video. This one video gives you all the information you need to know. And yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it is long. It is over an hour and a half. Then there is a little bit of Q&A, but the video is about an hour and a half. But definitely bookmark it and go back to it, because the story will continue and things will get more and more intense as the time goes on. And if you'd like to understand what and why is it happening and maybe understand yourself better, then do go back to this video. It has a lot of answers in it. So what I wanted to talk about is only one day in, Saturn only just moved into Pisces yesterday, which for me is the second house, because I am Aquarius rising. So I had Saturn transiting through my first house for the past 3 years. And I felt it. There was a lot of restriction, there was a lot of changes, a lot of restructuring, everything, a lot of new beginnings. Yeah, my life is definitely a completely different thing in comparison to who I was and what I was doing and where I was 3 years ago. Very different story. So Saturn only just moved into my second house yesterday, and obviously second house from the evolutionary astrology point of view is all about our essential needs and values and our self-reliance, self-sufficiency. Obviously on a base core level is it survival. So what I didn't pay as much attention to, because I was so focused about the collective and how is it working on in the chart, like interpreting the full moon in Virgo, I didn't even pay that much attention about actually what is it doing to my chart. And what it was doing, it was squaring my Uranus. Literally perfectly squaring my Uranus 1 degree off, and a part of that, it was making a positive aspect to my nodes. So obviously my south node is in Scorpio, north node in Taurus. Yes, so it was making the moon was making the trine, the sun to the north node, the sun was making the trine to the south node, and obviously the sextile from the other way. So that was happening, and also it was squaring my Chiron, and actually these amongst themselves are touching the rest of my chart. So it was pretty intense, and I could feel it. Actually, I did feel some shift within me yesterday, and definitely it made me realize even more deeply what is important to me, what are my needs and values, what do I want to do. And I took some decisions yesterday. I actually step up into my authenticity and made the choices which I wasn't ready to make 2 days ago, but I did press the button yesterday. and I made certain decisions which are to lead me towards what I want, how I want to live my life. Because I was like, okay, well, let's wait how the next month go, how things are going to develop, and then I'll decide what I will do in May. When my return flight is due. But actually, this is something that I got inspired by also listening to meditation from Joe Dispenza yesterday when I went to the beach. And what he's a huge advocate of is that we cannot wait for the external to change in order for us to change. So we cannot wait for the external to reflect to us to what we want to become, because we have to become that first, and then the external will reflect that back to us, because that's how it works. So what I was doing, I was still waiting for the things to change externally, so then I can make the choices based on what's happening, and maybe it will be in alignment with what I want. But that's not how it works. Obviously, if you want something, we need to go for it. We need to put it out there. This is what I want. Make steps towards what we want, and then things will arrange themselves in order to make it happen for us. We cannot just expect the external to make it happen for us while we're just waiting. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait here, and I hope that universe is gonna give me what I want, but I'm actually not putting it out there, right? So that's what happened for me yesterday, and it was such a profound decision, which is not something huge, but for me it was like I was so scared to decide what am I going to do in 2 months when my time here is up. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't know what's going to happen next month, and I'm just gonna wait and see, right? But then I'm just still leaving it out up to the external forces to decide for me what I want. So this is, guys, what it is about. And I mean, Simon describes it so beautifully, like seriously, that we really have to learn to embrace who we really are, and all of it, the beautiful and the ugly, all aspects of ourselves, just coming to peace with it. Obviously, the Pisces is also about forgiveness. It's about self-forgiveness, forgive ourselves for self-betrayal, for how we abandon and betray ourselves, and put ourselves not first, or didn't follow what we needed, didn't get our needs met because we thought that it was something shameful, or it wasn't something relevant, or it was something non-important or something, and whatever it was. But pretty much this transit, this Saturn in Pisces, and all the other transits that's happening at the same time, the planets like so beautifully built on the top of each other, the story, everybody supports everybody else, like all the planets, they working towards certain direction, which obviously is to impact us, to impact our evolutionary potential and the way we are progressing as human race on individual and collective level. And obviously this is happening, manifesting in some way in everybody's life, but the core principle is to really face ourselves, to discover all these aspects of ourselves that perhaps we are completely disconnected with, and to start embodying them, to start following our own truth. Like for me yesterday, like I have certain desires, certain dreams and wishes, like certain wants. There is certain direction I want my life to go, but rather than necessarily make steps towards it, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Right? And then yesterday I was just like, no, screw that, I'm just going to make a decision, like go towards what I want, and then just each next step build on the top of each other in order to get to that direction. But I have to start moving forward, I have to put the first step forward, right? So that's what happened. And also I had another profound realization in regards to where I feel the most restricted, because obviously this full moon was squaring my Uranus, which is actually in opposition with Mars. Hello. And and it really made me feel where I still feel that I cannot be free. And for me, in my personal experience, is the inability, having my own space, having my own place, living on my own, and being able to do what I want when I want, without being, having to adjust myself to other people, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I don't have anything in Libra, guys. Okay, my Libra house is empty, so I definitely don't need other people around me all the time. Like, also because I'm Aquarius rising and most of my planets are in retrograde, I am very introverted person. So even though I am social to a certain extent, then I obviously don't shut up, but I need a lot of space and a lot of time to myself. And when I live with people, it is not the right thing for me. So anyway, so that another realization that I had yesterday, which just clicked for me, literally just like Saturn and this full moon just brought like this illumination onto this something. And also Virgo obviously rules my 8th house, so it makes me face these things that are making me this empowered Scorpio archetype. Like, where am I feeling limited? Okay, where do I feel that I don't have control and power over my life? And I had the realization that every single time I live with someone, that person kind of becomes my enemy. And it's nothing wrong with the person, but they are the manifestation of that which I feel is restricting me. So like, it's so obvious, and perhaps for other people it's like that as well, that something that maybe you have seen all your life, but it never clicked for you. And then suddenly there is this one moment in life where everything just clicks into place, and suddenly you understand everything. And you understand why you had to keep reliving the same circumstances and the same suffering and the same frustration, and like keep attracting the same people that made you feel the same way. Like, why the hell is that happening? And now I get it. Like, I'm just like, why, like, all these people in my life, and every single time is the same outcome. And I'm trying to think like it cannot be the people, obviously. There might be something within me, because the people we are surrounded with and the people we attract into our life are a reflection of us. They just mirror back to us what is already inside of us. They come into our life to help and support us in one way or another, either in a positive way where it feels nice and comfortable, like our friends, and stuff. So they like support us in our mission, especially if we are aligned and on the same fractal. So they get us, they understand us. And then it's the other kind of people, the people that just trigger you and make you feel frustrated and restricted and upset and stuff. And these people are to help us to dig deeper into what it is that makes us triggered and why, where did it come from, to start this introspective investigation, start digging deep into our psyche and subconsciousness to bring this stuff that wasn't integrated, this Uranus archetype, the trauma, something that happened a long time ago but got buried under because we weren't able to integrate it, we weren't able to process the information, or weren't able to do anything about it, especially, as most of these things happen in a childhood, and there is not so much we can do when we're kids, right? So anyway, so that what happened for me yesterday. I literally just had this realization that, oh my god, like, I'm always feeling this way living with other people, because they just mirror back to me this thing that is out of alignment with my needs and values. Because for me, being freedom is the number one need for me. It's the most important thing for me about anything and everything else. I literally, freedom is like number one up there, right? Everything else is secondary to that. And for me to have to like share my living space with someone at my age, and especially if it's not my romantic partner, and even that gets tricky. I only had one romantic, and that was my twin flame, my last relationship, where we were so aligned, we were so much like each other that it felt like living with myself, which was like very similar energy, which is what twin flames are, because we come from the same place, right? Well, we all come from the same place, from the same source, but twin flames are literally like another fractal of the same soul. And literally that was the only time in my entire life where I truly felt that I can live with this person, because it's like living with myself, because we are very similar, right? But apart from that, everyone else in my life is a problem, is a conflict. And it just like builds up until it gets to the point when I'm like, I can't bear this anymore. Like, I just have to go. And this situation for me just keeps repeating like all my life. And I never understood it. Like, why is that? I'm like, why do I keep attracting these people? But it's not the person. There is nothing wrong with these people I keep attracting. It's the lesson I was supposed to learn, and I never understood. So that's why I had to keep relearning that lesson, keep attracting the people that would help me to learn that lesson, because there's nothing wrong with these people or their habits or what they need, because it's their path, their journey. It's obviously not necessarily something wrong with me. It's just like I wasn't authentically acknowledging my needs. I wasn't being authentically in regards to how really important this is for me. And this is just my story. Like for everyone is something else. Like we need what we need. And also this year's transits, as I've been talking about, with the Venus currently being in the sign of Aries, where she obviously is learning about the the need of you, right? Because Aries is the very self directed energy, right? It's the self discovery. And then obviously Venus going through the sign of Leo for the longest time this year, and having the retrograde phase of her transit cycle in the sign of Leo this summer, that will again put another layer and deeper pressure, and also with the nodes moving into Aries and Libra axis into this, that we really need to learn, we really need to acknowledge. Also Uranus in Taurus is the same thing. I keep talking about this, but it's really, really important, guys, because like my teacher keeps saying in this video, and also in the workshop that we are part of this, the alignment with 2023 energies, and I'm sure he will be rerunning it. So guys, keep an eye on it, because it's well worth doing. It's like getting more insight about the current transit of this year, like an upcoming transits of the 2023, and how that will impact your chart, right? From the evolutionary astrology point of view, of course. So going through all these transformations this year, it is all to serve us to get ready for what's coming, because as I've been bringing to attention, and other astrologers as well, Pluto is changing sign, is going into the sign of Aquarius, where it will be for 20 years, but it's only dipping its toes there for 3 months. I believe it still will be on like 0 degrees. I don't think it's even going to get to 1 degree. And then it's going to go back into Capricorn. So there will be obviously more that we will need to do, more that we'll need to restructure, let go of, like definitions we'll need to let go of, more that we will need to understand that this is no longer working us, it's not supporting us, it's not a structure in our life that is offering us safety and security, right? And this is everything that's happening this year. And that's why I am so vocal about this work, about these transits, and also bringing to the forefront videos from different authors that are to support this understanding of this information and this core message of this year, because this year is the transiting year, is the in between, because Pluto, it's going to change everything forever for everyone, right? This is not something small. This is something that is going to impact us forever. The world will never ever go back to the past, and it will never look the same way. And most of us will completely change. I mean, if people don't, then they will really, really suffer, because we need to adjust to these upcoming energies. This is not a threat. This is just a fact, and it's for people to understand, because this is really intense. This is not just something that is just going to be, it's not going to impact me. And also because these planets that make the biggest change move so very slowly, it's going to start, impacting us, like obviously from, to a certain extent from the beginning, but it's going to be impacting us for a very long time. So the transition is going to happen slowly but surely, and then it's not going back. And this year, going back to this year, because this year is the in-between. It's the, Pluto going from Capricorn to the sign of Aquarius, and then back to Capricorn. And this is like, okay, guys, this is what's going to be happening. Get ready. See what else you still need to do and, correct in your life in order to be able to embody this energy of Pluto in Aquarius. And then, then I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Make sure you're ready. And that's like my teacher Simon says, even in this video, he said, we have this year to get our shit together, okay, guys? Like, excuse my French, but that's even the wording he was using. And that's literally what it is. So that's why it's so, so important to understand what's happening and how these transits are creating layer on the top of layer to create the story, right? To create the foundation of what is being born, what is being created. And with this full moon in Virgo, as I've been talking about, and everybody's been talking about, is this energy of endings and beginnings, is these two different energies, because always for something new to begin, something has to end. And there are a lot of things in probably most people's lives. I'm not saying everyone's, most likely everyone's, but most people, I just say most people because I can't generalize here. I don't know every person on this planet, but majority of people are aware of things that are not working in their life, don't make them happy anymore, and needs to go. They need to change, they need to adjust to, you know, some things that happen in their life, or, you know, just the fact that we all change. We change as the life goes on, through the experiences and, you know, through the people we meet, because we obviously, it's the Libra archetype. We learn from our, you know, relating to things, people, circumstances, is this relating, right? Because the Aries and the Libra are in opposition, is the opposite axis. So the Libra, the other, helps me to understand myself. It helps me to embody this rising sign, right? Who I was born to, you know, to learn to become, because it's the new beginning, is first house. So it's like new direction for the soul. So going back to 2023 and the transits that are happening, and there are many prominent transits, they are to support the energy that is coming in 2024, when Pluto will will enter Aquarius for good. So it's not funny. I'm just, you know, again, I'm making jokes out of things that are not really funny, but I'm just trying to lighten up the mood. So Simon in this video explains it so well, so well. So I don't even want to try to attempt to explain it that way, because I'm not on a level of being able to articulate it in a way he does. But that's pretty much what it is. So I really, really highly recommend people to have a look at this video, because it will give you so much insights about what's happening and why, and you can get ready, and you can also understand what's happening and why, because it will help us not to feel lost and confused and disillusioned about the reality, and the reality that we are going to be experiencing on obviously individual basis and collective basis. So for some people it will be more impactful than others, depends where people are at, obviously, on the levels of consciousness and on the journey they are at, and what kind of work they've done already, and what kind of life they live in, whether they already been authentic and following their dreams, and collaborating with people who are like-minded on the same fractal. So all this like Aquarian energy. But in any case, the energy is there. So as always, you either use it or it will use you. Either way, it's going to be manifested one way or another. And and that's why I find evolutionary astrology so very helpful, because it gives a deeper understanding to the transits. So yes, of course, we are all impacted on a mundane level, where we can see the everyday impact, how these transits are, manifesting on in the 3D reality. But with the evolutionary astrology, it gives you the bigger picture. It makes you understand, why is this happening and where is this heading? Like, where is this? What is the purpose and the intention of these changes, these energies? And it also then helps us to navigate and to make the changes that needs to be made, to make the like I always say about evolutionary astrology, it helps people to feel self-empowered, because rather than to feel the victim of the energies of the transits or planets or something, by understanding them, we can actually make a choice with our free will that will, make this transit to impact this in the best way possible, right? But obviously there is always a change required, because no new energy can come in with, the old one still being present, which is why the entire system is crumbling down, Pluto going through the sign of Capricorn. So since 2008, so many things have happened that it can never go back to how things were. So everybody, I'm sure, is aware of this by now. So anyway, guys, 24 minutes of having a podcast here, talk to myself. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I just really wanted to share how this only been around for 24 hours, and already I can feel it. I can feel the energy. I can already feel how this Saturn is going to push me on the mundane level, you know, in regards to how am I going to take care of my material reality, but also on the evolutionary level, how this Pluto and also my natal Uranus that just got squared yesterday, it will just not allow me to continue in the footsteps of the past anymore, because it is going to make it so uncomfortable. And I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that when they feel that there is a change needed and they know what they need to do to change it, but it's uncomfortable, the circumstances that they are at will become so uncomfortable that actually the change and the discomfort that comes with, you know, potentially making that change will be less uncomfortable than, you know, the situation people are at currently stuck. So at least that has been my experience. Obviously, you can share what your experience have been with this. As I said, this transit, it's only at its early stages, so perhaps not everybody is already feeling it. For me, I am feeling it because it activated a lot of things in my charts, and obviously Uranus is my chart ruler because I'm Aquarius rising, so that's a big activation. And yeah, this is going to be a process of 3 years. And like I said, this year, and this is what Simon talks about in his video, this year is very important year because it's the transitionary year, the year that is to make us get ready, because the time is running out. So watch this video. Maybe if you can't watch it all at once, watch it in bits, bookmark it, repeatedly go back to it within the next 3 years, and it will definitely help you understand what is going on in the world, because there will be a lot of confusion. Potentially there will be a lot of lies, there will be a lot of disillusionment, and yeah, there is there is nowhere to hide anymore. All this escapism and this association is just not gonna cut it anymore. So yeah, we might as well face it and just go forward, because we can't go back. So much love to everyone, guys. Have a great week. And yeah, shout out to Simon again. Thank you for all the work that you do and for all the changes you brought into my life, thanks to the tools that I learned from raising vibrations. So much love, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.